Italy are through to the finals, but the question remains, is it coming home? And to discuss that on the All Ball Special Euro episode today, we have Abdullah, Sam, Amitesh, Aka, Joy, Yash, and Aditya. How's it going, boys?
What's up, man?
Hey
All
man,
good.
Good to
How's it
have you
going, guys?
back. Sam, I want to start on yesterday's game. Spain is a team close to your heart. I've known this through the years, but disappointed that they're out.
Yeah, man. Spain has been close to my heart because of the golden days of Iniesta, Xavi, and those guys playing David Villa, Torres. But this tournament, as soon as it started, everyone was talking about Spain lacking that potent attacking threat in terms of a centre forward. We discussed this, in one of our shows earlier also, I think. So I think that's what hurt them. They were the team which created the clear-cut chances in last night's game. Dani Olmo and Oyarzabal had two easy chances which they could have scored. Then Morata missing the penalty, and I think Pablo Sarabia being out due to injury really hurt them in the attacking third. And Italy, scored an amazing goal thanks to Chiesa. And they do what they do best, man. They killed it in the penalties and they're through.
Bang their chest and freak the opponent out. But Yash, coming to the Italian side, they were rattled. They did not have the ball. The midfielders were missing. Pedri was dominating that midfield for an 18-year-old. But they do what they do best. Like Sam said, they grinded it out.
Absolutely. And this is the first time in the whole tournament that I saw Italy actually chasing the game. Usually they take the attack to the opposition. In this Euro, that's what we've seen. But it was the first time that, Spain really dominated, and we saw the Spain that played Slovakia and, Croatia, the 5-goal Spain turn up, not the Switzerland one. So it was fantastic to see. And yes, like you said, that Italians were a bit short when it came to performance yesterday. But in the end, like Sam said, that they just held their nerves and that they did what they do the best. And Chiesa being, one of a kind, being, father son duo scoring in Euros, that's fantastic.
But there was actually a point in the first half where you felt that Mancini is going to take Chiesa off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he changes his mind. He still plays. But question I want to address to Aditya is the Jorginho penalty.
Yeah.
Pressure situation and he still does the hop. But okay, he's great at penalties and stuff like that. But do you think he was missing in the game with the other Italian midfielders? Because that is, they're tipping him for Ballon d'Or and shit like that. But you need to turn up at such games. Thank you for that reaction. I'm going to put this up. But you need to turn up at such games, and the Italian midfield did not.
Yeah, and that Ballon d'Or thing, I'm sure it's a joke. It's just a banter thing that Chelsea fans are doing on Twitter. But apart from that, yes, Italian midfield was overrun, but that was for a reason. Enrique kind of realized what his strength is. His strength is the midfield. He doesn't have a good attacking player. So he played a false nine. He overloaded the midfield. So he had like 5 midfielders on 3 quite, diminutive small midfielders trying to dominate the midfield. And that's why you got a feeling that even Verratti, Jorginho, Barella, all were felt like they were being overrun. But eventually, Spain's weakness was the attack. They had all the possession in midfield, they had all the ball, but they were lacking that cutting edge, which Italy did not. Even in the first half, if you see the Emerson chance, and even on the break, Italy did look threatening. Whenever they got the ball, even though Spain had the most of the possession, Italy, to me, looked more threatening than Spain did, going ahead in the opposite box. So, yeah, they were overrun, but I don't think that would be the case with either England or with Denmark in the finals because they are quite structured as a team and they play with proper attackers.
And Italy's biggest, I think, sorry, Spain's biggest weak point being Morata. Now, Abdullah, I've said this before on the show. Do you think Luis Enrique had selection problems? Because again, in a game where you need to score, you play a false nine rather than a striker who, yes, he's been hot and cold, but he's got you the goals when you need.
Yeah, I think yesterday's game was Morata's career in a nutshell, right? Like he will score the goal at times that the team requires, but then when the clutch situation comes again rather, then he's going to fall short. And unfortunately, Enrique's hands were tied throughout the tournament. But if you go and look at their results, they have won only one game in full time, like in 90 minutes rather.
They had won only one game. The rest all were draws. And I just got this feeling that for the Spanish team, for even Enrique himself, I think a semi-finals run is a bit of a success for them. And whereas at the same time, Italy, if there is any one team which is actually deserving to be in the final based on performances alone, then it is Italy. So I think today when they would have woken up the Spanish players and the coaching staff and everyone, considering the score that they had and the performances, I think they'll be pretty pleased with their run into the tournament.
And finally, Joy, being a Man United fan, does it make you happy to see probably 3 or 4 Man City players go out in the Spanish side and a certain F. Torres, if not Fernando Torres, also knocked out? But you think Spain deserved to be out or Italy got lucky?
Well, I agree with what Abdullah just said. Spain, they're going through this whole change of guard of sorts, right? I mean, there's so many big players who've left the squad, like Ramos for one. It's a change in guard and it'll take time. And a lot of these players you named, yeah, they're City players, whatever. But some of them are really good players and they are prospects for the future. And I mean, I think it's an accomplishment, man. I mean, yesterday I remember talking to another friend of mine while discussing the game, and I was like, I thought Spain would actually go and do it. I was citing Italy in yesterday's game. It's been wonderful to watch them, man. I mean, this is such a surprise. I mean, I have never ever in my short life so far, but not seen Italy go and play the way they've played with confidence, good attacking football. Some of the goals they've scored have been good. They played like a team with proper spirit and fight, and haven't chased games. I think, like Yash mentioned too, they haven't really parked the bus or sat behind, waited for the opponents to make mistakes. They've gone and done that, taken things in their own hands. So for me, Spain definitely. I mean, maybe slightly, I wouldn't say lucky. You can't get to a semi-final with only luck. But I feel like yesterday's result was fair. I mean, Italy deserved to go. Spain would, like Abdullah said, it's a big accomplishment. A lot of these players will take a lot away from it. There's also Ansu Fati and a couple of players like that, the next generation who are missing from this team too. They'll add a lot in maybe the World Cup, So that's a big deal, man. I mean, Italy deserved it though, for sure.
And Sam, you mentioned Iniesta. Now, there were comparisons made between Pedri and Iniesta. 99% passing rate was a disappointment because he misplaced 2 passes in extra time. Do you think he is going to live up to that name or it's still a long way to go?
There will never be another Iniesta.
I love it.
Let's just leave it there. The balance, the touch, magic. There's no one going to be close to him. I hope there is another one in our lifetime, but currently I see no one, man.
Okay, now going from Iniesta to England's Iniesta. I don't want to say Raheem Sterling, but I have to. England versus Denmark. Yash, I want to start with you. Last 6 encounters between England and Denmark, England have only won 1. Now, I call Denmark the dark horses. Dare I say that anymore? How far have they come?
They've come really far to a point where Chelsea fans could, likely to be said that Christensen could win the Ballon d'Or if they win. So, yeah. So you never know. But yeah, Denmark have come really far. And with the start that they had, it was, horrible, disastrous. Two defeats back to back, then winning a game and qualifying. And now where they are, they really deserve to be here, if I have to say, because they played good football in the end. And you speak of England, you have to speak of, Raheem Sterling, like you just said. So he's going to be a key player today. And Denmark will be really prepared for him because they've seen a lot of him, in the Premier League. And also, yeah, it's going to be a very good contest between Denmark and Sterling, if I may.
And Abdullah, one very interesting fact is that Denmark, until yesterday, was second highest on the number of goals scored as compared to England, who have not conceded. So Denmark have 11 goals and England have not conceded in 5 games, which is a shocker considering there's a Harry Maguire over there. But is this a different defensive lineup to what we've seen from these players in the Premier League? And is this going to take them through?
For England, you're asking?
Yes.
I think surprisingly, England has done too well actually defensively in the tournament. And Denmark, I'm not that analytical as some of the other guests over here. So I just see a game, if it's good or not. But Denmark has been rather enjoyable to watch, man. And I think we can expect that at least in the earlier stages of the game. And England's defense, definitely for one reason or the other, it has proven to be pretty stellar. I mean, even if you remove the 100% record, there have been a couple of easy chances that the opposition have missed. But outside of that, they've done their defensive duties well, and rather more surprisingly, they've actually done their attacking duties even better. So they have really helped linked up the play, as they say, right, from defense and into the transition as well. And with regards to the Denmark side's attacking prowess, I think, like Amitesh spoke about, luck getting probably Spanish side thus far can't happen. Likewise, I think once you enter the knockout phases of especially an international tournament, then I think it's everyone's game because you're just a couple of games away from actually winning it. So it depends upon which side turns up. Your adrenaline cannot take you through because it's only going to last you for the 90 minutes. And unfortunately, as all the games, most of the games have been, I just hope this game also does not go into extra time because I'm done staying up till like 3:50, 3:30 in the night. It's getting really painful the following day. So one way or another, I hope Denmark wins this.
Okay, and now speaking, the last question on their defense. Aditya, now Roberto Carlos has tipped Luke Shaw to achieve great things. Now, first of all, being a Chelsea fan,
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he said that. He said he's going to achieve a lot of shit and all that. He's growing and all that. It's coming from Carlos. But one is that there's a certain Bell Chilwell on the bench who did not even feature when they played a five at the back system. Now, Luke Shaw's done well, yes. Another name I want to mention is Jordan Pickford. He's been very inconsistent in the Premier League, but he's pulled off some blinders. Now, is that going to change it? Because most of their assists, most of their play is coming from the left side.
Correct. And the left side, I think Shaw and Sterling, both playing on the left side, have been England's best players. And that is why, of course, the goals come from there. And I think, whenever he's playing five at the back, that left-hand side is their attacking side, while the right back does not attack much. That's what I've seen when James has played. That's what I've seen when Walker has played. So I think that seems to be, conscious decision by Southgate. And on England generally, I think Southgate, even though I was making fun of him at the start, he has started to change your perception. I think he's learned from the ex-managers of England. And he's not picking players on the basis of their names and how their talent, but on how they fit the system. He's drawn a lot of flack for it, but he's not playing Scholes on the left wing like Eriksson used to, Sven-Göran Eriksson used to. So he's played the system. He's played two holding midfielders. He's played two centre backs who are defensive, two full backs which are not very attacking, except for maybe Shaw, who's given that license to go forward. So I think England's defense being so good is all down to Southgate and the organization he's brought into England side. So I think England may end up winning it, man. Even though I don't want to, I want Denmark after what happened to Eriksson to win it. But I mean, it's over. It's long time due since '66. I think they need to win this, and I think they might end up doing this.
It's a scary possibility, right? Like England actually winning it, and it might seem like a very bad simulation that we are living in. If England do win it, then considering that we all watch like British media everywhere,
yeah,
they're not going to let us forget it for the next 40 years. Till the next time they probably win an international tournament.
I have a certain gentleman on the channel who is not going to let me forget it for probably till the time I live. But coming to England and keeping it strong defensively, Sam, this is probably your favorite part of the game where the midfielders come in. Now, Rice and Phillips versus Delaney and Højbjerg. They've both had great tournaments, but Rice and Phillips, being the younger pair, have performed better, do you feel? Because for me, that is the key battle. Now, is that going to determine the game?
No, I think the game would be determined on the battles which happen, in the wing channel. Sterling or maybe Foden or Sancho, whoever plays, how they can beat their man on the wing, because that's where the space will be. And all these big games, each and every team keeps the center so compact, there is hardly any space, which is why we've seen the death of number 10s in football lately. Because in the center, no team gives any space. I think Aditya spoke about how organized Southgate has made England. So the way they set up in a 4-2-3-1 with the ball, without the ball, very, very defense-minded, very, very compact, which is why they've kept clean sheets so far. They've not been a freely scoring side. I think, I don't know if you guys are aware, in Euro 2012, in the World Cup 2014, and in Euro 2016, England got 0 goals of set pieces. I think after 2010, they went 72 corners without scoring a goal. And now Southgate has given so much importance to set pieces, throw-ins, corners, free kicks. Having a side which is set up so well defensively, it's difficult for them to score in open play against, unless players come up with some moment of brilliance or some magic. You have to rely heavily on set pieces. So that's the amount of thought and the amount of hard work Southgate and his staff has put in, man. I feel amongst all the teams in the Euros, England is one team which is, giving so much attention to detail when it comes to the individual roles and responsibilities of every player. I think like Aditya said, when Sterling comes in, Luke Shaw overlaps. And if you notice, if he overlaps 4 times, maybe thrice he's ignored by Sterling. It's just a dummy run to take the defenders away. So yeah, it's amazing to watch the discipline and how they fulfill their roles and responsibilities in defense. Many of my teams, when I want to show them videos of how to do a midfield press, what your role should be as a DMF, I take England as an example under Southgate and show them how they set up on corners, how they have guys who are marking, blocking the runners, and many more nitty-gritties. So yeah, England are a team to watch, but not, I wouldn't say a very entertaining team to watch in terms of attacking football, but they get the results, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that should sum it up for England.
But now, not attacking, Joy, they scored as many against Ukraine as they scored in the entire tournament. Stats for Raheem Sterling say that he has been involved for England in 22 goals in 21 appearances. Harry Kane, 27 goals in 26 appearances. They have a list of attackers. So, is this going to be another case of, a drubbing for Denmark?
Well, I don't think it'll be a drubbing for sure. Not a drubbing for sure, but I mean, it will be a close game. Like Sam just pointed out, England are not going to be. I mean, also I was just reading out while Sam was talking, and I mean reports say that very likely that Saka will come back and Sancho will be dropped. So apart from, I mean, what Sam mentioned, those moments of brilliance, they will rely heavily on certain parts of the game like set pieces and stuff to get goals. And I feel like Denmark is quite strong in that sense too. They have this team spirit. They're also well drilled, well organized defensively too. So I don't think they'll get. It won't be a drubbing for sure. It'll be a good, fun game to watch where I guess Denmark will maybe be like they have kind of pressed the issue more in games so far. Like they've been like Darmstadt, and I'm a big fan of that guy, man. He's been playing some really lovely football, and really surprised. Couple of those Brentford guys too. I think. I mean, it'll be an interesting watch. I hope. I mean, deep inside, I'm somewhere an England fan for I don't know what reason. Since I was a kid, I don't know why. I don't understand why. Deep inside, I don't ever accept it.
Pronounce all the 11 players. You can pronounce the name of all the 11 players properly. But you spoke of Damsgaard. You spoke of Damsgaard. Now, Yash, Denmark's they're not going to sit down. They have Dolberg, Damsgaard, Brathwaite. They have their wing-backs who've been attacking. They have scored 4 goals in a couple of their knockout games. So, I mean, if they score first, and I asked this question before as well, if Denmark get the first goal early, is that going to rattle England, or do you think, like Sam mentioned, England is stable enough, sound enough to get through it and take the lead or even the game?
See, like you just said, if they score first, obviously it puts a kind of a pressure on you. When you're chasing a game, it's always difficult to chase a game. So yeah, there'll be a little bit of pressure because 7 clean sheets they've kept so far, 2 in the qualifying as well. So 7 clean sheets back to back. So it will be a step down for them if they concede first. But nevertheless, I know England are playing really well. And just to point out something, in 2008, 2010, we saw a couple of, Barcelona wins in the Champions League. So that era was kind of, those 4 years were dominated by Spain. If you look at the last 3-4 years, Champions League has been won by an English side. So that really, puts a lot of confidence when it comes to international level as well. It kind of goes hand in hand. That's what I feel. With Liverpool winning and now Chelsea winning, it could be an English dominated era. So I wouldn't be surprised if England even, win the finals. And if this game could be just another step for them if they beat Denmark comprehensively.
When you said Champions League final, Chelsea win, there was a bright smile at the bottom of my screen. So Aditya, I will start with you, a prediction for this game.
I think it'll be maybe 2-1 to England. I see Denmark.
I think we have lost connection, so I will move on to Joy. Your prediction.
I think 2-1. I'll take it from Pimple. 2-1 for me too. I feel like it'll be a fun game to watch. So I hope England don't get dropped. But it's going to be very, very emotional for Denmark, man. And Eriksen's going to be in the stadium as well, right? Eriksen and the six medical staff who actually said
finals, I think.
They were. I think that this game.
That's for the finals. No,
that's for the finals. Regardless. Regardless of that, I think it's going to be very. I mean, all these games have been very emotional for them. I feel like that what happened to him have played a major part. I don't see them going down without a fight for sure. But it'll be a fun game to watch. I just hope England don't get dropped.
And Abdullah, considering that Bukayo Saka is tipped to be in the starting lineup, he didn't have a bad game. I must admit, he had a great game when he started. Scoreline.
Scoreline, I'm going for the safest prediction scoreline ever, which is 2-1. But this time I'm going with Denmark. I feel England might just nick it, but for the sake of the footballing community, I really don't want England to win. Nothing against the players, to be honest. But I also have this feeling that actually England has not been like found out throughout Southgate's managerial era, right? There have been a couple of good wins, big wins. And so, whether it's Denmark now or Italy later, I think they will be found out. But it could be tonight. So that's why I'm hoping for like an underdog 2-1 victory by the Danes.
And Sam, before we move on to student, a prediction from the coach.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an England win as well, man. But, I'm just very keen and looking forward to seeing England play in such a big game at Wembley in front of their fans. And I'm looking forward to watch Denmark press them in their 5-2-3, man-oriented press, which might, because nerves would set in the first few minutes, might invoke a few errors in the English backline. And maybe that could give Denmark something to hold on to if they score first. But, 80% I'm swinging towards England, man. So I'm going to go for an England win, 2-0 and 1 goal coming from a set piece.
Thank you. I have 3 England defenders. I was waiting until one of y'all gave them a clean sheet. But Yash, finally coming to you.
Even I have 3 England defenders and I concur with Sam. I concur with my coach, what he says. It's going to be 2-0 to England because England have played really well. They've got a good formation at the back. And I feel that, with this English side, they've got a settled, back line. The back 6, if I make, count Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, they've made sure that Jordan Henderson is out. So that itself proves a point that how confident and how set they are in the back line. So I think that it's going to be a clean sheet and probably a 2-0 win for England.
And we've got our Champions League winner back, Abdullah, unfortunately. But yes, Adi, your prediction.
Yeah. I think it's going to be 2-1 win for England. I see Denmark scoring and I see them breaking that clean sheet record of England now for 7 games. But I think England may have a little too much attacking power to win it. So it's 2-1.
All of you who have given Denmark a goal are never getting invited on the show ever again. You're going to sit at home and watch us on YouTube and not feature. I just said I have 3 defenders. But boys, this elite Andheri panel, thank you for joining us. It was a fun chat. Coach Sam, Yash, Amitesh, Abdullah, Aditya, thank you for your time. And may the best team win. Stay home and stay safe, boys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Cheers.